when you gotta get back home at lightning speed. Here's your look at the Jaded Toys Back to the Future, the 1/24th scale DeLorean Time Machine. Take a spin in the iconic time-traveling DeLorean from 1985's Back to the Future. Featuring a die-cast metal body, opening doors, and light-up features, this 1/24th scale vehicle is a must-have for any collection. Now, before we collect up the 1.21 gigawatts that's required to send this baby back in time, you may have also noticed the collection tray has been passed around at the beginning of this video. If anybody happens to have any spare gigawatts they can spare, just put that into the tray. We'll see how much we can get at the very end of this video. Let's grab, though, the old tape measure of mine just to see how big the DeLorean is. Lengthwise, at least, from bumper to bumper, you're looking at the DeLorean. You can see for yourself is about 7 3/4 of an inch long. Or you can flip that around. If you are the one that likes to collect your things in centimeters, then at least the centimeter length of this old DeLorean is about 20 centimeters long. Sure, yeah, I probably could have brought in a Batmobile for comparison. After all, we have just recently, in fact, looked at the 1989 Batmobile, but let's go a little further back than that. Just move over the DeLorean we're about to have a look at from, of course, the 80s Back to the Future movie, and to date ourselves even further back from that. Here's what the DeLorean looks like with the Stranger Things Billy's 1979 Chevy Camaro. It's a nice looking car. When you do look at them, at least side to side, not souped up like a Batmobile would be, they are of the same length. Obviously, the Batmobile would have had a lot more things going on top of it, so I didn't want to bring that in for comparisons. But if you wanted to go like for like, regular car to, well, I guess not so regular car, this is what the DeLorean looks like with the 1979 Camaro from Stranger Things. And while sad to say that a miniature Marty does not come included with the DeLorean Time Machine, you do at least get yourself the weather vane that attaches onto the back of it that hooks onto the wire and pumps this baby with the 1.21 gigawatts. That is included in the back of the packaging, and one would want to be very careful when removing it, because at the beginning of this video, if you saw my unboxing segment, pulling this out of its tray, I almost bent the plastic. Luckily, the plastic is pretty bendable, but still, you would not want to cause little fraction marks, little stress marks to the plastic. Certainly would not want to break this, but it is a soft enough plastic. This hooks onto the line while Marty's driving the DeLorean, hits the line, of course, pumps the DeLorean with the 1.21 gigawatts. This does plug, though, onto the back of the vehicle, so you can choose for yourself. I'm glad that they at least gave you the option that you don't have to necessarily have it attached. This, as you can see, there's a little plug right there. It fits into then the provided hole on the back. You just plug it into the back like that. And then the DeLorean, for all intents and purposes, if I can actually get it completely in there, does have then the weather vane on the back of it. I don't know if I would call it a weather vane. It's basically the hooked post that goes onto the back of the vehicle. It is a hard fit to get it in there, though, so you're just going to have to twist it a little bit. I did it already before, but I may have to maybe soften the plastic just a little bit, because I really don't want to put, obviously, the pressure down here, because that's going to, again, warp this. You will only be able to put the pressure right here, and you may have to even just twist it just a little bit to get it firmly attached. But like I was saying, though, I'm glad that this was something that can be removable. Obviously, if you wanted to store this away, this would obviously start to buckle if you start putting this in a bag or wherever you decide to store your collectibles when you're not displaying them on your shelf. This was certainly something that could break. So I like the idea that you can actually remove it. I'm going to put that to the side. One thing I really like about this DeLorean is the fact it does have light-up features. All the front of the bumper, as you can see right here, is made of more of a translucent, very rubbery plastic. I was actually surprised to see that. I was expecting this to be kind of more of a harder acrylic plastic, but it does have a little bit of a more rubbery give to it. It's rubber here on the front of the bumper. It's also rubber here along the back section here where the wires run along the outer frame here of the DeLorean all the way back to where we began, right at the back there. You can also see as well, as just before we're about to press the button, it does have the license plate with the very familiar Out of Time. But the button here, though, is located marked nicely with a little symbol of a lightning bolt. When you do press this, this illuminates not only the front of the bumper, but illuminates all the things I just finished talking about. Again, these are all made of a more softer plastic material. It doesn't stay on for very long, and you may think to yourself there's an on and off switch. There really isn't. You press it once, you press it again, you press it again, you press it again. It's not going to turn off. Nor can you actually hold it and it cycles through anything other than what it just does. So there's really no way other than just allowing a little bit of time to elapse for the light to actually eventually turn off. I wish there was a way that you could actually have turned this on and maybe left it on, where you can then have gone back and pressed it off and automatically, well, manually turn off the light source for yourself. It illuminates nicely here on the sides. But as I can press it again, you can see not enough of the light carries across the front of the bumper. So it's actually more illuminated here than it is in the middle section. And it's more illuminated here and here where the light sources are, the actual light bulbs. And it illuminates really less here. Detailing is nicely handled here. I think Jada Toys really does great jobs when it comes to these scaled vehicles, whether you prefer to collect in 1/18th scale or, like I've been doing a lot lately, the 1/24th size, just because it takes up a whole lot less space. There's a lot of cool details there on the back. You won't see Mr. Fusion anywhere here on the back of this. That's for Back to the Future 2. But what you will see nicely, though, is the fact that you can open up the doors. The doors open on either side, and inside you can see not only is the steering wheel, there's the control console that'll indicate what time you're going back to. And then on the back, as it should be the case, let me just flip this around so you guys can see it on the other side, there is the flux capacitor. When you press the button again, you can see it does not illuminate the flux capacitor, nor does it actually illuminate the inside of this. And that makes the most sense because obviously they're only going to be putting, for the price point of what this vehicle goes for, they only are really putting the light sources, of light bulbs here, light bulb here, light bulb here. They're not going to take the time to put electronics, circuitry on the inside of the vehicle to illuminate that. Maybe if this was a larger scale DeLorean, that might be the case, but for 1/24th scale, I certainly don't expect them to start incorporating light up functions for a flux capacitor, nor the read up display on the inside. It looks as if they've actually sticker applied the actual readout for the display as well. If I can flip this around to the other side, it looks like they've also put a sticker on there for all the things that you'd expect to see on a normal car, whether it travels in time or not. The tires themselves roll very easily. The whole top frame of the body seems to be metal. In the movie, this would have actually opened up, but this one does not open up. It's one of the actual few Jada Toy figures, Jada Toy vehicles, that doesn't actually have a hood or a back trunk that actually opens up. This one, in this case, actually only has the doors on either side that open. You can't open up the trunk. The trunk is actually just molded here to the front of the main body. Light source is nice. As you can see, you got 4 pairs, well, 2 pairs on either side of headlights. But again, like the tires roll really nicely. Now, somebody had asked me, I think in an earlier video, if these tires do rotate, if the vehicle is going to be turning. Not the case at all. The way they've actually designed the vehicle is that on the bottom side of it, you can see like the axles running straight through and the tires on either side. There is no means to actually then rotate these. They're stuck in place, but they do still manage to roll really nicely. The bottom of the undercarriage here is actually made of plastic. You can see there's some nice detailing done to that. You can see as well, it also says Back to the Future and scale 1/24th. And being, of course, that it is a vehicle that has 4 wheels, the DeLorean rolls really well. All in all, it's not a bad looking vehicle. My only thing again is, while I do appreciate the fact it does have a light up source, I really wish that there was a manual option to kind of go in there and be able to turn on and off the button yourself. Obviously, you would not want to leave it on for long periods of time because that's going to drain the batteries real fast. And what's rather interesting, though, is while looking around on this, I don't see an actual compartment. Well, there's a section right here. I'm assuming that to be the battery compartment. Yeah, that's the battery compartment right there. You would just unscrew that, and I would imagine it probably takes button cell batteries, which I've actually yet to really open up. Let's take a screwdriver here while we're certainly curious and open up this and see if I can actually see what types of batteries this stores. I mean, obviously, you guys are here anyways. I'm here, so let's just open this up on the bottom of this. Yeah, okay, so it's button cell batteries, and you're going to need, in this case, LR44 times 3. Let's not lose any one of those. I'm glad at least it's LR44 and not those, those weird kind of cell batteries. They're not quite the length of a AAA. They're about half the size of a AAA. Those obscure sizes. You usually have to then go to those weird strip plaza battery stores. They're small. They're run by somebody that barely knows exactly what you're asking the batteries for, but you're somebody that would have to go there and start buying a battery. At least LR44 batteries are pretty easy to come by. You can pick them easily up in places like Amazon, and I suppose if there's one still open, you'd probably pick it up at Radio Shack as well. But all in all, a nice looking vehicle. Now, actually, Jada Toys has also advertised here on the back of the packaging. Look at me starting to introduce all these things into this review. I'm just going to move the DeLorean over here for a second. The back of the packaging does show the light up version of the DeLorean that we looked at in this review. There's also a Back to the Future 2 DeLorean that has then the flip down tires. A Back to the Future 3 DeLorean that does have the one that attaches onto the railway track. And then there's the one that actually does have the white rim tires from Back to the Future 3. So there's a lot of cool DeLoreans that I'm all going to be on the site I would be looking out for, at least, to try to pick up and add to my collection. Like the look of this one. I don't think there's really, again, much I would have added differently, done differently to the DeLorean, other than maybe just having the light source be something, again, I could turn on. I could look at it. I could enjoy. I could take some photo photography and then I'd be able to turn it off again. The weather vane attachment, again, is a nice touch to have that actually as a separate piece, so you don't have to worry and commit to that always being on the vehicle. So, of course, if you always are worried that this is going to bend, or you really don't even want to have the DeLorean with that even on the back of it in the first place, I like that at least Jada Toys give you the option to remove it, leave it off, and not even have it as part of your collection. And here in Final Looks, we've got the 1/24th scale Back to the Future DeLorean Time Machine. You know, I had all these high hopes of pressing the button on the back and having this thing illuminate as we wrapped up this review. And I know I wasn't wishful thinking by knowing that this thing wasn't going to last the entire time, that this guy behind the camera was going to yammer on about this vehicle. It was going to turn off pretty quick. What I wasn't expecting, though, was to turn it on, put it on the turntable, go to hit record, and start saying what I was going to say and have this thing already turn off. It doesn't last very long at all, and I get why Jada Toys made this automatic so that you wouldn't forget that it's on, and it would be draining the button cell battery power source that's on the undercarriage of the vehicle. Rather, they made it automatic, but it would have been nice that they could have extended the time frame in which this thing could have lasted longer. At the very least, so that if you are one that likes to do figure photography, for example, if you like the idea of taking a snapshot of the DeLorean, you're going to have to do it really fast before the lights diminish again. Also here in Final Looks, you can see I've got the gull wing doors open on both the sides. They are independent, obviously, from one another, so you don't have to necessarily have both open up. You can open up just the driver's side or just the passenger side. And I've also, in the time to wrap things up in this review, I've also attached the lightning rod on the back of this vehicle. I'm sure probably some of you were scratching why I kept calling it the weather vane. The lightning rod, as you can see, that powers this thing with the 1.21 gigawatts. I'm not going to do the impression of Doc Brown anymore. Don't worry about that. But this is, again, one of 5 DeLoreans that Jada Toys released in the 1/24th scale that we looked at in the back of the packaging. Definitely will be setting my sights to try to track down the rest of these. I do like the look of this vehicle. I like, again, the idea that with Jada Toys vehicles, like they've always done with the other 1/24th scale, that once again we're getting metal, die-cast metal bodies, plastic undercarriage, plastic tires, which is no fault at all, the fact that they're going to make plastic tires. It really is less rubbery tires and just, again, more softer plastic. The tires don't turn like a normal car would turn, but it does everything else short of actually being able to teleport any teenager back in time or in the future. I would have preferred to go into the future myself, especially get myself one of those cool looking Pepsi bottles. But what do you guys think of the DeLorean here, the 1/24th scale here from the folks over at Jada Toys? Is this something, a line that you guys could see yourself getting into collecting? If it is, and you guys are interested to get the DeLorean for yourself, it is available over on Entertainment Earth's website. That's actually the place where I ordered this for myself. It took no time at all. In fact, somebody probably just jumped into a time machine to have this thing delivered to my doorstep because it took no time flat. The DeLorean may very well be out of stock right now, because usually when they do stock these DeLoreans, they don't last very long. But again, I'll provide the link down below in the video description if you guys are interested, get one for yourself. Certainly as well, if you guys enjoyed this video, want to hit with a like. If you guys are loving the content you guys are seeing, and certainly do want to stick around for more, definitely there's going to be a lot more videos coming your way, but make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, and that you're also moving on, not to the section that's going to be pumping any bit of electricity from a weather vane, lightning rod, but make sure you also turn on the bell notification. That's going to give your guarantees that any new videos are going to be popping up to this channel. You're going to be getting those friendly notifications. There's going to be a lot more videos coming your way, guys. So as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.